Quilcene is really a beautiful community. God has blessed people here with an incredible environment. Mountains and water. It's beautiful. And there are a lot of beautiful people here.
I love it. It's a great place. If something needs doing, someone shows up and does something for somebody else. And so this is perfect for me.
I've lived here 70 years. And my mother and father before me and my grandfather before them. I love living here. I can't imagine living anywhere else.
Quilcene is right on the edge of the Olympic National Forest and had a very thriving logging industry. In the early 90s, that completely changed. There were court decisions that limited logging. People left, and the logging industry basically dried up and went away.
Quilcene just really fell into a level that I've never seen before, and I hope I never see it again. It was sad. And we were just one community, and there were lots like us, especially on the Olympic Peninsula.
When we came in 3 years ago, there was no gas station. It had closed down a couple of years before that. There were 9 or so vacant storefronts in a very short downtown area. It needed some help. On the other hand, in that commercial district, there were some things. A community center that had been rebuilt by volunteers and a lot of vision from the community.
Getting to the notes on page 9.
The Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative was a way that we could partner with the community.
Through the Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative approach, our first step was to talk with the residents and understand what their aspirations are, what kind of program would work in this community.
By talking with the residents, we learned 2 million cars go through Quilcene, Washington every year. We felt that if we could put a Habitat for Humanity store in Quilcene, that we might be able to attract some of those cars, and when they stop at our store and shop, they leave a little bit of money to help with repair projects, but they also go next door and start going to the other businesses in Quilcene.
100% of the funds raised in this store support the Neighborhood Revitalization Initiative. So the people who volunteer here every week know that their efforts are helping their neighbors.
A second piece of our NRI are the repair projects that we do. We found that because of high home ownership, there wasn't necessarily a need to build more housing, but there was a great need to repair housing, and we can do that. We can help them with that.
My name is Christine Llewellyn. I own Serendipity Farm.
This is the kind we make fairy houses out of.
We grow quite a bit of organic produce, vegetables, we have some fruit. We grow year-round. We have 5 greenhouses, and we just recently got pigs. I'm not sure I can eat them, however. They're too cute. We do feed a lot of people in Quilcene. We want this farm to be used and loved by the community. The house is a 101-year-old farmhouse, one of the earliest homesteads in Quilcene. I never could have afforded to get this house renovated. The whole front of the house was rotten. The roof started leaking in the living room, and there was some horribly faulty wiring. I'm lucky the place didn't burn down. Habitat tightened the whole foundation up so that rodents can't get in, and they replaced 8 windows in the house and then did the siding. And the house is tight and it's dry, and Habitat made it affordable. Habitat has saved my backside, so to speak. It was a ton of work, and the best part about it was the people who came to work were so wonderful. I made all kinds of new friends and enjoyed every minute of it.
NRI is a way that we knit ourselves into a community. So the long-term impact is much stronger because the residents own this. The people of Quilcene were already doing much of the work of revitalization. For example, now we see storefronts that have businesses in them, including a gas station. The residents pooled funds to actually buy one. It's a huge testament to the people who live in this community, and we could play one piece.
we just have these pockets of promise, and it's good. It's good. I'm hopeful for the very first time in a long time.
I want you to take this tour with me and just go in your mind's eye, not disregarding the reality of things, but just kind of go with me as we go through the vision and we talk about what the possibilities are in this neighborhood. This area, the misery index is really high. You have high unemployment, high school dropout rate is 43%. Practically every home on the street that we'll go to is headed by a single female household. If you look at this street, it looks like a third world country. Really, it's almost like cobblestone. Very little pedestrian infrastructure. And it really looks desolate. And it really affects the psyche of the kids who live in this neighborhood. You want to see maybe, a soccer field or a playground right here. The nearest grocery store is over 5 miles away. And so you have a neighborhood that's peppered with liquor stores in a county that has a $6.9 billion agribusiness. We have a food desert here. And you can't come over and paint over hunger. You can't come over and paint over education disparities and health disparities. You've got to build the community from the ground up. What we do best at Habitat is bricks and mortars, but we can take that same skill set of building something and build a neighborhood. I remember when we started, we would ask people, what do you envision for this neighborhood? And sometimes we would just get a blank stare. And so we thought the ability to dream and to vision had just kind of disappeared. But we kept asking that question. And now we have a strategic plan that's built on the vision and the dreams and the hope of people who live here. So part of our revitalization initiative means that we take a collective impact approach, that we partner with agencies who are already doing the work in this neighborhood. For example, we partner with the local churches to do outreach to the families and to feed families who are having food security issues. There is a little liquor store here that's going to have green carts and produce carts. I think the biggest change we see is the neighborhood kids who now feel empowered, and they have a voice now, and they're talking about their concerns more.
But there was no sidewalks. Only if there was a playground nearby.
We are right now circulating a petition for a playground in this neighborhood because people know kids need something to do in this neighborhood. This is the community center. It's really the hub of the neighborhood. The kids come after school, parents come, and at the community center we have a high population of youth and seniors who are all experiencing some food security in some form. So we built this 28-bed community garden with some of the neighborhood kids. So there's a lot of opportunity to really invest in the lives of kids, and it happens here at this center. So I'm coming up on the school district in the area. What we do here is a lot of training. We're going to have our resident leadership academy here. We recruited some of the teenagers who live in the Habitat subdivision and train them to do a block analysis and a homeowner assessment. The assessment is part of the community evaluation strategy that we do every year. So kids are talking to each other, but more importantly, we're getting the data that we need to track impact on quality of life. 10 years, I see the street that we're sitting on that doesn't have, curbs, sidewalks, and gutters. I see it built up. It's infill lots. I see houses and families, a grocery store on the corner. We just believe quality housing, having a neighborhood that's walkable and safe is a basic human right. And at the end of the day, we're advocates. And we are advocating for changes for the lives of the kids who live here. We're agents of change. That's what I like to say. We are agents of change.
Hi, my name is Roberta Good. I live in Newtown, Jacksonville, Florida. This neighborhood has really grown where it was nothing happening, but now it's jumping. New parts, new homes, new families moving in. It's wonderful.
The Newtown Success Zone is a place-based initiative where we work on placing children and their families on a continuum of care that leads from cradle all the way to college or career readiness. When we first started this program in '07, it just was not a good place. There was a rampant level of fear around crime and violence here in the neighborhood.
It was rundown houses, and a lot of youth was getting in trouble in the neighborhood. You couldn't walk the streets, you couldn't go to the park, and it was just like something needed to be done. And now we have taken back our community.
We focus on 4 fundamental things here in the neighborhood: early childhood, neighborhood safety and stabilization, education, and health care. To date, we've just built a Center for the Prevention of Health Disparities. We have a new police substation here in the neighborhood. We've built parks in the neighborhood. We have a community garden in the neighborhood. Our schools are turning around. And so when you add all of those things up together, they point to change. You know, moving people out of poverty is really complex. So partnerships is really, really essential to the work of the Success Zone because no one entity can do it alone. Our partnership with Habajacks has allowed us to, this year alone, build 25 new homes and rehab an additional 25 more that exist here.
Well, we're Habitat for Humanity of Jacksonville, but better locally known as Habajacks. We are revitalizing the physical aspect with our housing components, but then the whole neighborhood is being revitalized with all the other services.
We care about the community we serve. You know, we in the Sheriff's Office, I mean, that's very big, you know, for us to let the community know that we're not just here to take enforcement action, but we care about you. So we get out and we speak with residents, and then we talk about what could we do to make your neighborhood safer.
Crime is down in this neighborhood 40%, and if you ride around the neighborhood, you'll see more and more people just out in the neighborhood. So if the neighborhood's safe, new homes, new residents, kids now feel welcome to play.
It's wonderful to live in Newtown. I love it, and I wouldn't change nothing for it. And I wouldn't move out because of what was back then. Look at us now. Look at us now.